everyone. I'm Allie, the founder of an educational nonprofit, Wonder Learners. I'm a current student at Stanford Online High School and an incoming student at Cornell University. Today, I'm going to be talking about passion. Let me start off with a story. It's Friday night. As usual, I'm on my laptop getting ready to teach a class in Wonder Learners, my educational nonprofit. I quickly skim over the book we're going to be reading one more time and review my lesson plan. It's a really deep book. I think the kids will love it. Full of characters, plot twists, beautiful language. Quite challenging too. I think you've heard of it. The Three Little Pigs. Little pig, let me in. Not by the hair on my chinny chin chin. Really, a brilliant display of the beauty of a rhythm and repetition, the eloquence of rhymes. So anyways, back to the story. I open my Google Meets classroom and let in one of my star students. Let's call her Amy. Amy is a student in my Williams syndrome class. She was a normal kid. Black hair, dark eyes, loved to play, loved to participate. She was always optimistic and smiling in our weekly online classes. She would share stories of what she did at school or what she handmade, an assortment of baked goods, keychains, drawings, and as cheesy as it sounds, all made with love. And so I greet her happily, expectantly. I say, "Hello, how are you? How have you been this week?" And she says, "Teacher, I'm so nervous." It was around December, so I figured it might be exam season or something. So I said, kind of chuckling, "Why? Is it because of finals?" Now, I need you to understand some context here. When I was 11, the same age as her, I was nervous about whether the boy I liked me back. How could I get his attention? How could I beat that annoying Sarah from class 301? I was nervous about the 61 out of 100 that I got on my math test. Yeah, and I study economics and business now. Funny, right? I was nervous about the punishment I'd get when I brought that grade back home. I know you all get flashbacks of your parents yelling and nagging at you for hours. 3 times 7 is not 24, Allie. Even now, at 18, I was worried about my upcoming final exams or my college applications. So back to the story. I ask her why she's nervous. Why? Is it because of finals? No, I have heart surgery next week. And the thing is, she said it with a smile. How? How could she still smile? It was as if she was used to surgery just as I was used to finals. In fact, I probably smiled less during finals. I couldn't possibly imagine what she was going through. Her concern was over life and death, and she was only 11. That story became a core memory. Have you guys seen the Pixar movie Inside Out? 脑筋急转弯. A core memory is a special memory, one that is so important, essential to our sense of self, one that we'll never forget. In the movie, the core memories are these balls with different colors representing different emotions. But unlike the movie, the emotions stored in my core memory were not those of joy, anger, fear, or disgust. It was a mix of the blue of shock and sadness, the pink of empathy, and most importantly, the orange of passion. And still, perhaps it was by chance that I had the opportunity to teach this class, to teach these students. I came here today to talk about passion, and passion can come from anything, any person, any encounter. I had founded Wonder Learners originally to promote curiosity and exploration in learning. The founder of the Williams Syndrome Association had heard about us, and he reached out to me. That began a cascade of events. I met with Williams syndrome specialists to make sure I knew how best to teach the classes, since I never taught special needs kids before. I had multiple meetings with the founder of the association where he would share stories of health complications and surgeries. And it all rippled into that moment in class. I was caught off guard. I had heard stories of those health issues, yet those problems seemed so far off at the time. But Amy's heart surgery brought it all too close to home. It was completely different to have a student I personally taught, cared for, and of course, importantly, spent a weekend building Legos with, tell me that they were about to undergo heart surgery. It was the moment that completely changed my mindset. When you first start doing something, it starts with a general idea. In Wonder Learners, I thought, let's give back to the community. Or in sports, let's try playing basketball, it'll be fun. Let's get some exercise. Or even in music, let's learn the piano. I love Beethoven songs. It starts with an idea. But as you endeavor, something snaps. It grows from an idea into a love, pouring life into the lifeless, the light into the darkness. I have heart surgery next week. It grounded all my abstract visions. Wonder Learners was not just an educational nonprofit, not just a program for teachers to read stories and for children to listen. It was a place for both teachers and students to learn and grow and bond, where students could share their stories, stories of their lives. It was something that actually made a difference, something that my kids loved and I loved. Wonder Learners was no longer an endeavor, but a passion that was my strength. So let me tell you another story. It starts with a difficult class. The students were difficult to manage online, and teachers on both sides wanted to shut it down. Ava, the teacher in Wonder Learners, she would note how impossible teaching the class was. She would call me after class saying, the students don't pay attention, sometimes their mics are off, and the in-person teacher there doesn't help. On the other side, Miss Chen, the supervisor of our partner nonprofit, the one in Tainan actually hosting the kids, she had also given up. She would tell me about their financial problems and how that caused their teachers to be overworked. And so I went to observe the class myself. Sometimes Teacher Ava would have to ask a question over and over and over and still not get a response. Sometimes the students would get distracted by younger students running around in the back of the classroom. And sometimes they would get too hyper, talking to each other. Sometimes their cameras and mics were off, and who knows what they were doing. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about, having probably been to online classes yourself. When the teacher hasn't called on you, you have an overpowering urge to open YouTube or Netflix. Or when the teacher does call on you, you just happen to have tech issues or accidentally leave the classroom. So yeah, it was a difficult class, especially since these students are younger in elementary school. So again, the consensus was that discontinuing the class would be easier. But it was my passion that stopped me. How could I forsake the spark of learning ignited in the students? I remember the first time I taught them myself. All of their cameras and mics were off, mostly for the whole class. I remembered the first time I visited them in person, how happy they were to see me, how eager they were to share their stories from their lives, and how they loved playing animal charades. They were so excited that I realized that I had to work on my classroom management. I remembered how a third grade girl would have to walk back home alone in the dark rural area that I had come to by car. I remembered how they have to take ADHD medication. I remember one kid telling me that he wanted his parents' love and affection for Christmas, and another saying that he was grateful for his social worker during Thanksgiving. We continued the class. How? My passion for Wonder Learners gave me strength. To me, the point wasn't only trying to promote curiosity or exploration like my original goal had been. It was to listen to the students' stories and see their growth. Even if they weren't as good as a normal class, so what? They were still improving little by little. If this had happened when I just founded Wonder Learners, we would have given up on the class. The problems just seemed impossible to solve. Students diagnosed with ADHD, or problems stemming from strained finances of our partner nonprofit. I mean, how are we supposed to solve those? Yet we did it. We hosted countless back and forth meetings, came up with games to keep the students engaged, and adapted the lessons just for this class. And it wasn't just my passion, it was everyone's. Everyone who genuinely cared for the kids. Passion is strength. Wonder Learners changed me. Through the smiles of my kids, their joyful stories, and their playful personalities, I grew to become more passionate in teaching and education. That passion lent itself to me when I needed it, when I was challenged, when I was dismayed, indeed when I had failed. Passion is strength, strength to overcome, strength to grow. Now, Wonder Learners has expanded to impacting thousands of kids. And the girl from my first story, Amy, she told me that she wanted to become an English teacher. This lesson isn't restricted to education bound by the walls of our classroom or by the time limit on Google Meets because I can't pay for Google Premium. I love to play basketball. I found my passion when I was playing against others in street. And that has given me the strength to train, the strength to compete against guys heads taller than me. Passion lends itself to you when you need it, in your darkest hours, when you're beat up, when you're crying for help. Passion gives you determination, faith, and spirit. Why do we battle on when the odds are against us? Because we love what we are doing, and we would do anything to keep going. So go find your passion. It could be from your family, your academia, your friends, or even a random encounter. Find your orange, your core. Find it, grow it, and don't shy away. Because you can spend your lives doing what others tell you to. Be a doctor, be a lawyer, major in computer science. I'm just kidding. I'm sure some of you are actually passionate about those. But my point is, you can spend the rest of your life doing what others tell you, following what others have done. Or you can take your orange and live a fulfilling, happy life. Passion is strength. Thank you.